Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus dismissed the crowds and went into the house. His disciples approached him and he said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He said in reply, "He who sows good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed, the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all who cause others to sin and all evildoers. They will throw them into the fiery furnace where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears ought to hear." The Gospel of the Lord. If we take a moment and appreciate what is happening here in the book of Exodus, the selection we read here, there's something amazing going on here. Put yourself back there with Moses and imagine that God himself is coming into a tent and revealing all his glory. And Moses sees him in a face-to-face encounter. And not only that, the people of Israel are very conscious about what's going on. When Moses would come out of the tent, they would see his whole body beaming. And so they knew God was really there. And in spite of this fantastic manifestation, in spite of all that, the people of Israel still rebel and sin and everything else, and have their days when they're acting like God doesn't even exist. Can you imagine that? And here we are. In a moment, Jesus is going to become truly present in an even more grand way than Moses saw at the altar. And while we're experiencing that, and we may even vary in our understanding and faith and experience of it, we're here because we know he's here. And yet, if it were true, the whole city of Manchester should be crowding every church because Jesus is manifest in a reality, in body, blood, soul, and divinity. He's really here. What you see described here is a prefiguring of the Eucharistic presence of Jesus and of what we call Eucharistic adoration. What Moses enjoyed, we experience in this parish literally on demand. Anybody can go into the Adoration Chapel and have a Moses experience every day, 24/7, except when there's a big blizzard. Sometimes we have to close the chapel because of that. But nevertheless, this reality is here. One of the problems that faces us, however, is we still have a tendency to look at prayer and adoration in the wrong way. We measure prayer by productivity. Are there results to my prayer? Is God delivering what I'm asking for? How many items on my grocery list that I've handed him can I check off? Has that happened? But when you weigh this against this parable and Jesus' explanation of the parable of the weeds and the wheat, our job is to be the wheat growing in the field, very passive. We receive the sun, we receive nutrients, and we grow. And we maintain a union with the Lord. Prayer is really more about being than it is about doing. However, being what you are becomes impelled into an action. A rock will not move, but a disciple of Jesus Christ that is nurtured in being with Christ begins to do the things of Christ. And so the actions become his actions. But this only can happen when a soul allows itself to grow in the field and be cultivated by Christ, by an investment of time that seems apparently useless to the world. And yet the soul steeped in the soil of Christ grows and eventually cannot help itself but to be Christ and be impelled into the action of being Jesus for the world. Now, at the end of the world, it's not our business to figure out who the weeds are and the wheat. We're told here that the angels are responsible for that. It's our business to be Christ.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrecti